Okay, so let's learn how to do a pivot table. What I've done here is I've created a very small data set. It's 20 rows by 4 columns. And although it's very small, it's actually quite complicated. It has a number of products. So we're selling fruit here. It's got grapes and blueberries and watermelon, oranges. It's got lots of different types of fruits we need to look at and potentially analyze. We're looking at sellers, and we've got a variety of different sellers, Corey and Jennifer and Anjali and Max. And then days of the week, and of course there are 5 days of the working week. Beyond that, we can look at each transaction and what each transaction is worth in terms of money. Now, we might want to cut this data a lot of different ways. We might want to analyze different crosstabs of product, seller, day, and sales. So let's see how we do that. First, what we'll do is we'll go up and click Insert. And we see here on the left an icon called Pivot Table. So let's click on that. Now let's move this box over here to get it out of the way of our data. The first thing it's asking us to do is to select a table or range. So let's select all of our data. So I'm going to highlight all of this data, and it's now there in the table range. Choose where to put it. Let's put all of our pivot tables on separate worksheets so we can look at them separately. And click OK. So now you see down at the bottom we had sheet 1. Now we have sheet 2. Let's call sheet 1. We're just going to, we'll go back to sheet 1 and we'll rename that. Sorry, we'll rename that Sales. Now let's go look at sheet 2 and let's rename that. What we really want to do is we want to look at Product. We'll go to Rename, Product dash Seller. So we're looking at the relationship between products and sellers. So to do that, one thing we might want to do is we might want to take our seller and put it in column, our product and put it in rows, and then our total value of sales and put it over here, drag it down to values. Now what that's given us, let me make it a little bigger so you can see it better. I can move that up. No, it won't let me. Let's see, now we can. Okay, so let's see what that's given us. It's given us a chart that's really interesting. It shows us Corey, Jennifer, Max, and Anjali and how they've done selling certain types of fruits. So interestingly enough, Corey has sold no blueberries. Jennifer sold no grapes. Anjali and Max have sold no oranges. Corey, on the other hand, has sold a lot of oranges. Almost 80% of her total sales are oranges, and a big chunk of all of our total sales. We may want to analyze that. We may understand that maybe given their sales territories, these make complete sense. Maybe in some cases they don't make sense. Maybe Corey could do a better job of selling blueberries. Maybe Max and Anjali should be selling more oranges. Maybe 991 oranges for Jennifer isn't enough based on all the oranges that Corey is selling. That's one analysis we can do. Okay, so let's go back. We'll look at our sales again. Again, we're going to create a pivot table. We go to Insert, Pivot Table. We'll move it over. Again, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of our data. Click OK, which will open yet another Sales Sheet 3. Now, what we want to do in this one is look at it perhaps a little differently. Why don't we look at really what's going on between sellers and days? So we'll put days in our columns, sellers in rows, and we'll drag our sales down to value. Now again, let me make this a little bigger. I'll do it a little better this time. There we go. That's given us a really interesting chart. It shows us which days of the week Corey, Jennifer, Max, and Anjali have most of their sales. So Corey sells pretty much only on Monday and Friday. Now we may want to know, is she taking Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off? We may not care. She sells almost twice as many as some of our other salespeople. Some other people like Max don't seem to be doing any business on Monday and Tuesday. Anjali, not so much on Monday. Are they taking long weekends? Or is there a really specific reason why their sales are either front-loaded, back-loaded, or in the beginning or end of weeks? Something we can look at. I'll go down to sheet 3. I'm going to rename that Seller-Day. So now we have a seller day analysis. Let's do one more just for fun. Let's go back. We'll insert pivot table, drag it over here. Once again, highlight all of our data. Open a new worksheet. And this time I'm really interested, not really in the sellers, but which products sell on specific days. So we'll put days in our columns, products in our rows, sales in our value. Again, let me make it a little bigger so you can see it. And what we've got here is a view of which specific products sell most on specific days. And again, it may be important to our analysis to see that oranges, a big chunk of them, about 80% of our oranges are sold on Friday and only Friday. Is there a sociological reason for that? Do people buy oranges for the weekend? Or is it based on what our salespeople are doing? Or is there another reason? Looking at blueberries, blueberries sell really well on Monday and Wednesday. They don't sell at all on Friday. Is there a reason why people shouldn't be stocking up for blueberries on Friday? Again, this allows us a really interesting analysis. We'll take sheet 4, we'll rename that product-day. Now we've looked at a very simple data set, but we can imagine that most data sets for most companies are much larger. They might have 10 or 15 columns. They will probably have hundreds or even thousands of rows. But the principles are still the same. If we're looking at things like products, sellers, days, and sales, we can quickly do a product seller analysis, a seller day analysis, and a product day analysis, and many, many other different types of analysis really quickly. I mean, this whole thing probably took me about 2 minutes to show you. And having bigger data sets isn't any harder to do. You just have to outline bigger data sets. So that's how to do a pivot table. You're going to find it very useful, and the people you're working with are going to expect that you know how to do it and how to use it.